Watch as this atheist student debates Cliff on the possibility of Noah's Ark and the Great Flood truly taking place.
If you were to say somehow fit every animal in the world 2 by 2 into a large ark, you would see evidence of migration. You would see changes in the DNA left in the soil. You would see fossilization of perhaps different remains that they left or eaten along the way. We don't see any mass migration like that. Alternatively, if you were to take the idea that the whole world was flooded, right, you would see different layers of animal skeletons residing at different elevations. I think one of the most common examples is they say the Grand Canyon has these striations, right? So as you see the striations, you see that different layers of sediment had been compounded on top of each other. If the case were that there was a flood, you would see the same animal skeleton, same remains, traveling up the side of it, because I assume the animals would try to escape the flood by climbing higher. Or you would see different deposition of different soils at different levels. However, we see that there's just different striations as expected of a world that occurs naturally, especially with sediments.
You must read any document and respect literary style. Paul preached the gospel to the whole world. Does that mean that Paul went to South America, North America, and Asia, and Australia? No, it does not. So the question is, was the flood literally universal, or was it a local flood? When I was in college, I had to read the Gilgamesh epic.
Yeah.
The sad thing was that my professor mocked the idea of the flood in Genesis and used the Gilgamesh epic to do that. The mistake my professor made was, it's very possible there was a flood and different cultures struggled through how to communicate the flood. Isn't it fascinating that in a lot of ancient cultures, you do have a flood account? It's not just in Genesis. The Gilgamesh epic communicates crystal clearly that there was quite the flood. So to try and argue that no, there was not some great flood thousands of years ago is a little ridiculous. And then to insist that the Bible says the flood literally went around the whole world. No, there are many followers of Christ, deeply committed to the scriptures, who understand it was a local flood. I don't think that kangaroos hopped from Australia to Iraq to get on the ark. Okay? And so to demand that kind of thing from a text that's not being that specific, I don't think is intellectually honest.